There's something I like in films that, for me, is quite significant. I like it. I mean, call it quite simple. It's when, in a film where there are many characters, I just like it when the camera shows the lives of the different characters, and then eventually their stories just come together. But before their stories come together, you've seen the viewpoint of one character. Cameras follow them for a while, and then you see the viewpoint of another character, and then another character, and then they just meet together in a central part of the story, which brings things together. And for a director to be able to do that, I mean, if you can do it properly, you've done things quite well in the film, if that's the case. And Jesus, in the parable that he is telling concerning this son who goes away and wastes everything that he was given, Jesus does this type of thing, whereby he actually spent the first part of the parable about this son, talking from the son's perspective, what the son had gone away and done with the inheritance that he was given. He wasted it on bad living. He landed himself into a bad situation. And he comes to the senses. He has this light bulb moment when he realizes that it's actually better for him in his father's house than for him to be in that situation with the pigs. So he gets up and he goes to the Father. And Jesus then, in this next part where we're going to look at in verse 20, in the second part of verse 20, he shifts the camera and he changes it in that sense, changing our focus now to the father of this prodigal son. And as the camera shifts to this prodigal son, this is what we see. It says this: "But while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and was filled with compassion for him. He ran to his son, threw his arms around him, and he kissed him." His father saw him while he was still a long way off. I think that is amazing. See, that means that father had to have been standing there probably day after day, just waiting and watching and looking and hoping and anticipating that maybe one day his son, who had taken everything, that the inheritance that he had been given and gone off to some far land, maybe that son would come back again. And there he sees his son at a distance coming. The son hasn't seen the father at a distance. The father saw the son first. And you know, what that tells me is that God himself, the Father, he sees us in our situations before we can see ourselves. Imagine the contrast. This father had seen his son go out carrying his load of great inheritance, going out into the great big world. Imagine the contrast as that son returns, not dressed in the good clothing that he had, not looking rich, not looking great, but looking gaunt and meager and poor and smelly and rough. The father was looking out for the son. And you know, that's simply it. God is looking out for us. He wants us to come to him. He's waiting and he's anticipating. He's eagerly desiring for us to return to him. So if you are far, take the long walk. Regardless of how it feels, you'll be glad you did it. Because on the other side of that walk, when you get there, you will realize that he had seen you the whole time and was simply waiting for you to come to him. He reaches out for you. You need to reach your hand and take hold of his. So God bless you. Make the decision. Have a wonderful week.